Yo, what's good, YouTube? I'm back with another reaction video, and y'all know I'm back with this compilation, Larry Bird's Greatest Stories. This is part 3, man. I was about to say part 2, but it's part 3. Yeah, man, appreciate everybody's love and support. Let's keep going up, man. Let's keep going. Let's keep grinding. But yeah, let's get right into it. You know, I'll keep it short and sweet. Let's get it.
Welcome to the complete collection of Larry Bird's Greatest Stories Part 3. It's been a while since I've come on camera and I've shown my face and said what's up, so I wanted to do this really quickly before the video begins. I just wanted to say a massive thank you. Like, I was reading through a whole bunch of comments last week and I was just like, man, look how nice these comments are. Unbelievable, you guys are the best. So I just wanted to jump on here and say a massive thank you.
Yeah, shout out to y'all, man. Definitely appreciate all love and support, man. I wouldn't have came this far if it wasn't for y'all. Even though I'm not nowhere, I'm trying to get somewhere, but definitely appreciate it, man. If it wasn't for y'all, none of this would really be possible, besides the hard work. But other than that, it's y'all, man. It's y'all.
Thank you to everybody, all the subscribers, everyone that, you know, shows support on the videos. I really appreciate it. And that's all I really had to say. I hope everyone's enjoying the playoffs. And if you enjoy these videos, it would really help me out if you could leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and hit that notification button. But without further ado, here's part 3 of the complete collection of Larry Bird's Greatest Stories.
I want to avoid the phrase trash talker, but he did do some of that too.
The X-Man, he didn't play, he had a sore knee, but my point to you is this, Larry gave me 50 3/4.
Oh my. Everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, hey Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since '84.
And Larry looked at me and then he looked at Mark and he said, Mark, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna come off the screen. I'm gonna catch it right there. I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna shoot it in the rookie's face, and then I'm gonna run down the floor.
And he runs down to the post and posts me up. And boom, he said, it's gonna be a long night, Sal.
One dribble going right, spin, shot, bucket.
And then he did.
He did it.
Like
There was nothing I could do about it.
I want to avoid the phrase trash talker, but he did do some of that too. What did he say on the court when you guys were having your battles?
Larry was not the one to just talk a lot of trash, but the things he would say to you would stick there. I mean, if it was just a simple Coop, I'm gonna wear you out this play, or face, or just the way he said things, it made it very hard. Face.
What is
he scored 2 points and
he'd say
in your face. You know, he didn't have to go the extra 2 words he'd just say face, and you knew he meant business. At times, especially, I had my differences with Chuck Person, who was a very lively talk out on the floor. I think he gets you into that mode of talking a little bit more.
I was going to say, you reminded me of a story when I was talking about Chuck Person, that Bird apparently was playing one-on-one and just torching him one night. I think he had 35, and as he's shooting the ball, he says to Person,
I'm the best F player to ever come from Indiana.
I'm the greatest player ever out of Indiana.
Shot a three-pointer in his face, all net.
And he says that right to Person as he's shooting, and of course the shot goes in.
One thing Larry said to me, he never did any sugar honey iced tea talking. He just kind of like played. But this one time he said, came down and I'm playing him. This is 1987. We're playing for the champion. And he goes, Coop, I'm about to wear your ass out. So I'm locked in on him now. And this the basket behind me and I'm here. And Robert Parrish comes down and sets a pick. And I was hard to set a pick on, so I knew I was going to get through it. But Larry takes me in, he comes off this pick, and he comes off right about the elbow. Dennis Johnson threw him the basketball, and Kareem steps up. So Larry catches the ball, and I'm right behind him. And he catches the ball, and he goes up. I said, I'm getting ready to smack this shit. He goes up. Kareem is there. My hands are there, and I'm like this. I don't know how this guy got the ball to Robert Parrish, but he throws it to Parrish for a pick-and-roll play. Parrish gets the ball, slam dunk. Boston goes up. The fans going crazy. He goes, I told your ass. And to me, that might seem like something simple, but that's the greatness of a great player in Larry Bird. And from that point forward, we never talked. He never said anything else, but it was just the fact that he wore my ass out on that play. So that's the thing I respected a lot about him, because Larry could score with or without the basketball. That kind of player there, that's the ones that you like to see and like to play against.
Is there any story that just that you forgot about, that you found notes
Oh,
for?
yeah, I had
or
little
something
notes
like
and
that?
stuff. So, again, Larry Bird, he could hold all these things in his head during a game. So he'd have a shooting drill at the old Boston Garden.
That was a routine at the Garden around 4:30 in the afternoon. I was an early guy. I'd set up early. The Garden would be dark.
Dark Garden. Come out with an equipment guy and just do the perimeter, shoot for half hour. All you heard was swishing.
Be a little bit of light by that court. The equipment guy was Joe Catato. Larry would come out. He brought him to Indiana when he went there, and loved this guy, the equipment guy. And Larry would do the perimeter, and I'd be setting up in my Stone Age computer porta bubble on the sideline right next to the bench when they used to let us sit in those seats. The lowly writers had those seats next to the bench.
I'd get there early, plug in my Stone Age computer right next to the bench. He'd come over, he'd call me Scoop. He'd say, Scoop, what are you working on? I'm saying, I'm doing an early story.
And Larry, he liked to break chops. He'd come over, and if he missed a shot during that thing, he'd say that the Bull Gang set up the rims, something wrong with the rim. Otherwise that would have gone in. And he'd come over and he'd say, what are you working on, Scoop? And I'd say, well, I'm doing an early edition newspaper story about your free throw streak. He was coming up on Calvin Murphy's 88 consecutive free throws.
You were approximating the NBA record for consecutive free throws, Calvin Murphy at 88. So don't miss one tonight, or I'll look bad in the paper.
It's going to look stupid if they open it up tomorrow morning and you miss when I'm writing about the streak. This is how it works. Sure enough, first half, he goes to the line for two, and the foul line is lined up right where we're sitting if he looks over.
He's at the line. He makes the first.
He looks over and winks at me.
He looks over and winks at me before he makes the second. I mean, guys don't do that today.
But he was always thinking about these things. It's like paying off a bet in the middle of a game. He was doing two things at once.
First made it to the NBA. Who was the first person to bust your ass?
Man, I'm gonna keep this real with y'all, man. My ass got busted real early, man. I came into the league, man. I was 19. You know how some of them vets, man, they play you to the T, man. I got played down in Boston one night. We was playing Boston Celtics. So the great Larry Bird. I didn't really know much about it. I'm from Indiana. Larry's from Indiana. I knew about the history of Larry, but I didn't realize how he really got down. When we got to Boston that morning, I knew something wasn't right. I saw an X-Man, and he was limping around the court a little bit like he was sore. I figured he'd be all right,
Xavier McDaniel.
I figured he'd be all right by that time. I go to the game on the early bus. I get there. They come out on the court. They say, hey, Sean, you starting tonight against Larry. And I was like, well, damn. I'm all for it, though, So he gave me 50 3/4.
Oh my!
He was hitting everything.
Man, and he talked to me the whole entire game.
What did he say?
Well, first of all, he asked me at the jump ball. He said, "You the cat that broke all my records in high school, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "I got something for you tonight." So every shot he was calling at the defensive end, he would tell me, he'd be like, "When I get down to the other end, I'm gonna pump fake you, get a hand one on you, look at you, go off the glass." That's how cold Larry Bird was.
And that's the legend. Like, people say that he was one of the dirtiest trash talkers, one of the best trash talkers. Like the one game he played and told dude, I'm shoot all left hand buckets on you. So he really talked like that.
Larry told all of us and the media, he said, tomorrow night's the last game of the trip. I'm going to play this one left-handed.
I remember because I was there, and it was at a time when McHale was still coming off the bench, and so he scored the first 8 points of the game left-handed, and Jerome Kersey was guarding him at the time, and I remember this because we had a great trash-talking team. I mean, we had ML Carr, we had McHale, we had Bird, we had Ainge was a yacker. I mean, we had guys with great creativity with that, and I'll never forget it. McHale yells out, "Hey Jerome, wait till you start shooting right-handed."
Being from the streets, man, I was.
Hold on, y'all. That's my son, real quick. Give me 1 second. Here, give me real quick. Excuse me, just gotta hop in real quick, y'all. All right, we back.
To the point of like, look, I'm gonna foul him so hard that he's basically gonna take his will. He started shooting the ball with his left hand, man. I was trying to foul his right arm. He was shooting with his left hand, banking it off on me, looking at me, still slapping me on my butt and everything, man, telling me everything.
Now see, that's something that he didn't hit you. He didn't hit you on the butt. Now I got to fight you.
And then Larry, he actually invited me to his house that summer after the game, man. He told me, he said, that's the best defense I've seen so far, the best effort. I get
Because you
I
still
gave
compete.
you 50 and three quarters, but that was the best effort I've seen in a long time.
You had to guard Larry. What was that like?
The worst thing was when you guys ran pick and rolls because, you know, Kevin or you or
Chief.
Chief came up and it was a quick pick and roll with a slip. So when I first came over my rookie year, I remember you were talking about 86. Remember the game, my rookie year, Mark Aguirre didn't want to play against the Boston Celtics for whatever reason.
Bring it up court to Larry Bird from three. Yes! Larry Bird! A three-point shot with 4 seconds to go, and the Celtics lead by 1.
Could have
Generally
been
called birditis.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was, I think, at that point, the third small forward, and Larry gave us 50.
Try again, he's short, and Larry Bird, an enviable pass right there. Easting finally misses, but Bird does the long arms. Bird gets a three points and three-point field goal shooters. Is left. Larry Bird. And to go. Ellis goes. Larry Bird with the left hand. Bird, three-pointer. Count it. Game for Boston. Larry Bird only needs 5-4 with 12 seconds. Bird, three-pointer. Count it.
Oh boy. Next year, for whatever reason, somebody else didn't play again. And I was starting, and I go, okay, do you want Bird or McHale?
Oh, great choice.
And I was going, isn't Walton starting?
I was listening to Jamal Mashburn on a podcast the other day, and he was talking about when the college players were practicing against the Dream Team. Have you heard the story that he was telling?
No. To play against the Dream Team.
This was the legendary game where the college guys came in and Chuck Daly let y'all tear their ass up, and as soon as y'all started getting back, he ended it, right?
Chuck Daly had scheduled a scrimmage against a select group of college players.
So yeah, so funny. So when we got an invitation, it was 8 of us. It was myself, Bobby Hurley, Allen Houston, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers, Eric Montrose.
Shout out
Eddie
Rodney
Martin.
Rogers, man. Shout out to OG.
Yeah. And Grant Hill was on that squad.
I think it's gonna be a good matchup. You know, there's no advantage on either side.
For the college players, it was a chance to see how they'd match up against the world's best.
So we get to La Jolla, San Diego, and we check into the Marriott. We go up to our floor, and we're walking in the corridor, and we see this tall white guy coming down the hall. And I'm like, damn, that looked like Larry Bird. So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird.
Exactly. As a kid.
Larry Bird, legit 6'10".
Nah, real talk. When I first stood up against him when he was coaching the pace, I was like, damn.
So he walked by us and he says, y'all those college guys? And we was like, yeah, we the college guys.
And then he said, get some sleep, young fellas.
And he looked at us and he said, get some fucking rest. It's gonna be a long week, and walked off. And we was like, what the hell? Larry,
What y'all got us into?
yeah, I'm like, okay. You know, we like, all right, what's going on here?
I wanted to say what's up, and he just gave me like this, like, damn.
Yeah. So the next morning, we get up and we go to practice, and Roy Williams is our coach, but we only got 8. So we like, how are we practicing? And what are we practicing for? So we spent, I want to say, an hour doing the 3-man weave. And I'm like, what's going on here? Then they bus us to another location where the Dream Team is practicing. And these about 400 people standing outside waiting for the Dream Team to come out. They take us up to a top floor, and the Dream Team is practicing. They're finishing up their practice. And then they say, all right, get loose and stretch out. We're like, okay, we playing? They're like, yeah, we're gonna play next. So we get out the gates, like the first 15 minutes, we kicking their ass. we running them all out. Bobby Hurley in the lane, killing John Stockton.
Bobby Hurley was dominant.
So they stopped the game.
These young kids, they were killing us.
I remember Chuck saying as soon as the game ended and we were getting ready to let media in, it was race the scoreboard.
And turn off the score. I think we were up like 72, 66 or something, 64, something like that. They just stopped the game. So we like, all right, is this halftime or some shit? They like, nah, the press coming in.
The media comes in, scores, if not hundreds. They can sense something. You can feel the tension, or you can feel something in the air.
Well, some of these college players we've just got through playing against probably should be on this team, but they'll get their chance.
So I'm like, oh wow. So that's when the thing came out that Chuck Daly let us win. Because they didn't want to hold a complete game because they knew it was going to be downhill from there. Because we were trying to prove that we could represent the country. Yeah. So we lit their ass up, and then something happened. We're sitting there, and we get back to the hotel. Rodney Rogers says something to, it's a group of them. It's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit.
And Rodney Rogers is talking smack to Larry Bird.
Magic heard that shit. And we ain't think nothing of it.
And Rodney Rogers all of a sudden tugs on Superman's cape. What happened after that?
And here goes Rodney Rogers. He's talking the stuff that we were talking in our other room. You know, our other room, we talking junk. Like, yeah, Magic didn't know what to do. And he goes to Bird right in his face. He says something like,
hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since 84.
They ain't made a jump shot since the 80s or 80. One of the years they probably won a championship.
84.
There you go.
And I never seen this. And this one I was like, this is a different breed. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court. Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do.
Bird, I remember one time coming to the corner, he pump fakes and Rodney Rogers goes by. He says, welcome to the parachute club. It's 3 in his face. And, you know, after, I don't know if it was Magic or someone said something like, you know, that kind of reminds you of 84 a little bit, don't it?
One dribble, pull up, going left, off glass. Fuck it. One dribble, going right, spin, shot, bucket. He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on a bench. He had to lay down because of his back. And said, young fella, look like 84, huh?
Last time he made it.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow.
It was funny, the first time that I played in my rookie year, I guarded Larry Bird, and it took me about 10 minutes to realize I should be probably guarding him instead of staring at him. You know? And he came down, it was funny, he came down one time, and Mark West was the center on our team, and Larry looked at me, and then he looked at Mark, and he said, Mark, I'm going to go down, I'm going to come off the screen, I'm going to catch it right there, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to shoot it in the rookie's face, and then I'm going to run down the floor. And that's exactly what he did. And I'm sitting there. That just happened.
But did he talk to you, or you weren't good enough?
He talked through me. He never addressed me.
I love that.
Yeah,
because you're a rookie.
He wouldn't talk.
I could imagine.
He had no time for me. He just talked right through me to Mark West and told him what he's going to. Like, I wasn't even there.
And did Mark West going,
Mark was like, all right,
okay,
man.
all right.
You probably will.
And then he did.
He did it.
But
there was nothing I could do about it.
I get a charge when I tell someone on the opposing team that I'm going to hit the last second shot and then do it. That's what it's all about.
Larry's open. 1, 3. Yeah!
I remember the Portland game. I think it was Super Bowl Sunday.
We were playing the Portland Trailblazers. He had like 52 points or something like that. We were down 3. He's a remarkable, crazy three-point shot. He was leaning, and I was like, there's no way he's going to hit the shot.
DJ again to make the inbound pass. The double team and Bird. Larry, fake, fall away. Hits it at the buzzer! All right!
He's leaning, falling, gets his three-point. I'm like, this guy's amazing.
I was a Celtic fan growing up. And I'm thinking I'm going to be a Celtic, And then, they pick Lynn Bias, and I got to go and play against Larry and those guys. It's something I've watched my whole life. I turn around and Larry goes, "What's up, Sal? What's up, Larry?" He goes, "You made it." "Yeah, man." He goes, "Y'all not double teaming?" I said, "Nah, just me on you." He goes, "For real?" I go, "Yeah." Yo, mouse in the house. And he runs down to the post and posts me up. And boom, score. He said, "It's going to be a long night, Sal."
And Larry with a long jump shot.
You mentioned, you talked about Larry Bird, and there was that one moment where I'm not sure if Isaiah lost his mind or it was just the truth, and Dennis Rodman said, "Larry Bird's just another white boy. He's a good player, but he's it's basically because he's white."
I think it was 86, 87. So we were playing Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they gave me the task of guarding Larry Bird. Guarding Larry Bird. I'm like this 25-year-old rookie in the league. They said, "Dennis, you have to guard him." And I'm like, guard him. So that was my whole job, to guard the toughest guy on the team, on the other teams. So, so I'm guarding him. And every time I turn my head, he's over there in the three-point line. He said, "I'm over here, Rook." I'm like, I got to go out there and run out there like a dumbass. Let's go out there, try to contest him. He'll hit the three. I'm like, okay, that's this. So that's like game 6 in Boston. So I made the most wrong decision that as a person can make.
The Celtics, as they always do, find a way to win down the stretch at home. 117 to 114. Larry Bird scored 37 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists.
The Pistons had lost to the Celtics in 7 games in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. And in Detroit's locker room afterwards, the questions were about the superstar who dominated them again. And then things got complicated.
Man, imagine having those autographs back then. They probably worth so much money, or you probably keep it, but they probably worth so much money, man. It's crazy.
It's because an unsophisticated Dennis Rodman is asked about Larry Bird, and let's be real, it's probably the first time in Dennis Rodman's life that a white guy tuned him up on the basketball court.
Dennis Rodman just went to Larry Bird University.
Larry Bird was the god in the NBA. He's like the great white hope. At that time, I didn't know any better because I was so used to being in the projects back then. So after the game, I said, "That's the questions. How do you think? What do you think about Larry Bird?" And I said, "If Larry Bird was a black guy, he'd just be a regular old basketball player." And I didn't realize what I said.
The funny thing about it is just the fact that Rodman was in his feelings at that time. Worm was in his feelings. It was after a game, and Isaiah took the heat on him.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about being a captain of your team. You're going to take the heat. You're going to make sure that you protect your players.
I know what I was saying because I was so young and stupid. I said if he was black, he'd be just an average basketball player.
Yeah, you got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got a lot of flack.
Yeah.
Like it was yesterday.
I'm just saying that's actually what I said back then.
Someone ran over with that comment and asked Isaiah Thomas, "Your teammate said something. Do you agree with it?"
And Isaiah did a great job of protecting him. It wasn't the fact that it was any disrespect to Larry Bird and his ability. It was just the fact that, he's a player. We didn't want to look at color. So the thing is, he's a good player. Remember, you said here's the great white hope, but it was just the fact that when you look at it, I was like, that motherfucker bad as hell. Like he white, he can play.
And it was more like, I'm in Boston, but I'm in Boston. And Boston, but you know what was so cool about our team though, that Isaiah came to my defense. He took all that heat from me. He said, Dennis, just get in your car and drive back to Oklahoma.
A very, very good basketball player. I think he's an exceptional talent, but I'd have to agree with Rodman. If he was black, he'd be just another good guy.
Isaiah, who clearly had the sophistication, picked the wrong white guy to make his point. Because Larry was the baddest boy on the planet.
With that being said, Isaiah took the heat for that because all of a sudden it's like Isaiah's going to protect us, by all means necessary. It's like, okay, it's just Larry Bird. It ain't like is he special? Yeah, he's special. He's good. I mean, what else can you say?
Just walking in this room and seeing everybody, it must have touched a lot of people, and that's why we're here. We're trying to cover up for each other.
Isaiah, tell me about the laugh. Now, is that a sarcastic laugh, or is that a laugh of someone who's saying, you know exactly what I mean?
No, it's a very sarcastic laugh. I think anybody who knows me well.
Do you regret the comment?
I never made the comment.
Do you regret piggybacking on Dennis's comment?
I regret not being smart enough to never repeat someone else's quote.
The comment's effect on Isaiah and his image was undeniable. But for the team, the impact was totally different.
That was a turning point. Isaiah really came to my rescue. That right there was a telling moment for me and for the team that we'll do anything for each other. But those times were different then. Those times were different. It's a different era these days, but my career that's escalated from that point on. Wow. From that point on, I learned, and the more I learned, the more I respect everything in life.
Let's talk about Larry the Legend.
Uh-oh.
The resume is long,
yeah,
but he's really known for two things mostly: shooting and talking trash on the court.
Yeah.
Which one bothered you the most?
His shooting. I mean, his shot was just so perfect, and not only was it perfect, my mother-in-law nicknamed his jump shot Silent Death because when he shot it, the ball just rolled in the air, and it was almost like it was playing a song, the way it was just moving in the air, and then it would just swish through. I mean, his shot was just so, and he was just, as a competitor, I mean, he was a killer. I mean, just a straight killer. And, again, you've heard me mention and talk about the Celtics a lot. They taught us a lot of great lessons. He definitely talked a lot of trash, but at the same time, he was backing it up. And during that period of time...
Yo, what do y'all like best about Larry Bird? His shooting, as a player, or do y'all like his trash talking? What do y'all best like about him? Leave it in the comments. Tell me what y'all like best about him. I like all around, honestly, the trash talking, this game, everything, man. But I know some people look at him oh, I like his trash talking, I like his shooting, or I like his passing. What do y'all like? But I like all around for me. Definitely Larry Bird is a beast. Oh, he's a beast. He's a monster, man.
All of us in the summer, I don't know if there was an NBA player who didn't try to shoot or imitate Larry Bird's shot in some way, shape, or form because it was so pretty and it was just so, he was great.
You've told me a story about calling Larry the day after a championship, the day after, and what was he doing?
Well, for me, it was a unique experience. First of all, play with him, but after we won in '84, we went out, go after the game, you go eat dinner and do things like, people do. But we get ready. So I call Larry the next day, and I call over and ask Dinah. I said, Dinah, where's Larry? The very next day after we win in '84, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bird is out running, trying to get the championship, the next NBA championship. That's the kind of dedication that Larry Bird had.
Go ahead.
That's probably true. But I probably felt so bad when I got up, I had to do something to start feeling better.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, here are 2 videos that you might enjoy. Go check it out if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Yeah, that was good, man. Oh, man, I'm loving this. I can't wait to do the part 4, man. Oh, part 4 is gonna be nice. I know that joint was crazy. This whole joint was crazy, man. Definitely appreciate everybody. Appreciate all love and support, man. You know, keep it short and sweet. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Leave your videos down in the comments or send me videos, whatever y'all want me to do next. Part 4 is definitely in the works. Documentary is definitely coming next. Definitely gonna do some full games. That's like basically on my list right now. Definitely on my list to finish this series. Definitely going to finish this series, do that documentary, and I have some full games coming. And yeah, that's about it right now, man. But yeah, man, I'm out of this joint. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everybody in my circle. I'm out of this joint. Peace.